What's up guys, Nam here. If you're new to this channel, here I typically talk about personal finance and investing. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to negotiate a car lease like a pro. But seriously, why would you want to listen to me? I'm not a car salesman nor a broker. I'm just a regular dude who knows how to research and lay down the facts to get the best deals. In a video I made not too long ago, I talked about how I was able to get a 1% lease on my Acura RDX. I'll link it in the description below. So in that video, I showed how I was able to get a $37,000 car for a monthly payment of around $304 a month with no money down. But what this video is going to be focusing on is a negotiation part and how to get the best price for your lease. Let's get into it. There are two things that go into negotiating a car lease: the research and the actual negotiation. So let's go over the first part. This is probably going to be the most important thing to take away from this video, and this is the research. You want to spend around 80% of your time researching the deals. Don't expect to go up to a car dealership and expect to lease a car for whatever you think sounds right. Negotiation is a verbal dance that you play back and forth where both parties meet at a mutual agreement. Not all car salesmen are scums or sharks. There are a handful of car salesmen that are brutally honest and they'll tell you the best price that they can give you. You want to save as much money as you want to, and they want to make as much money as they can. So if you look at it this way as a customer, if you have not done the research and know what's a fair price, you have no leverage in a negotiation. As a car salesman, they know their numbers. They know how much they bought the car for, and they know how much they have to sell it for to make it a profitable business. But you might be asking yourself, but what do I research? This is the exact order that I take when researching a car lease. I focus on what others are getting. To know what others are getting, you need to jump into car forums like Edmunds or Lease Hacker. Before I even start looking into what car I should get, I like to look at what other cars or people are leasing. The reason why I look at what other deals people are getting is that it gives me a baseline to work off of. Say I decided I wanted to lease a Lexus RX 350. If nobody's are leasing those cars and talking about it, then most likely these cars are not really leasing too well or to show off the deals. So if you want to find a great deal, you usually want to see what somebody has already gotten. It's going to be that much easier to copy that deal at other dealerships. When you're looking at other people's deals, you really have to look at where they got the deal. Because living in Southern California, I can lease a car for a completely different price compared to someone who lives in Washington. Lease deals can be completely regional. After that, I like to look at the terms of the lease. Just because somebody posts their deals, you really have to double check their work. It's like blindly investing into something that you have no clue about. The main thing I look into other people's deals is their terms and the money down. Because some deals look great when the terms are 3 years and 7,500 miles a year. The ideal terms that I look for are usually 3 years and a minimum of 12,000 miles a year. And I typically look for zero money down and drive-off fees. I like to have everything loaded into the lease. Because you can put as much money down as you want to in a lease to get a monthly payment that you're happy with, but it's really gonna be difficult to compare other deals. Another reason why I don't like to put money down is that in the case if you get in a car accident or the car is stolen or totaled, the money that you put into it is completely lost. Yes, you're going to be saving a little bit of money on a down payment if you put money down, but the risk outweighs the benefits for me. The last thing you want to look at when comparing other people's deals is the package of the car. What I mean here is each car has different models within a particular model. For instance, say the Honda Civic. It has the LX model, the EX model, the XI model, and so forth. From what I found, I usually found the base model of cars typically to have the best deals. So it's really up to you to figure out what really matters to you. Is it the price or the features of the car? For me, it's usually the price. After researching what deals or other people are getting, I then look at the rebates for the cars. There will be manufacturer rebates, which can be applied to all dealerships, and there will be dealerships that have their own rebates on their own cars as well. So to look for rebates, I usually go to the manufacturer's website. So they typically list a section where they have deals and rebates, and they show you what's available for each model. Majority of the time when you're looking at other people's deals, they typically list out what rebates or discounts that they apply to the price. There will also be rebates for people who are members to different things like Costco, AAA, or the military. So depending on where you work or what memberships you're a part of, you may have personalized rebates just for you. The last part is to research the numbers. What I mean about knowing your numbers specifically is the MSRP and the residual value of the car. These numbers usually play the biggest role when factoring a lease. These two numbers are important because when banks are looking to give out leases, these are what they're looking at. The residual value of a car is typically what a percentage of a car will be worth after the terms of the lease. So say you look at a car and it has a residual value of 60% after 3 years. This means that if you have a car that costs $30,000 After 3 years, it will be worth $18,000. You want to negotiate the car price as close as possible to the residual value, because the difference between the price that you paid for and the residual value will be your monthly payments over the term of your lease. So the best car leases will have high residual value and lots of discounts. This is the key to getting the best deal. So just on research alone, I typically spend about a month researching before I actually negotiate the deals. To each their own, some people could spend much longer, or some people would just spend a few weeks or a few days when researching a deal. So after I've done the research, I start emailing a bunch of local dealerships to get a quote. I strictly do all my negotiation online and through text. The reason why I do this is because it's the most efficient way to get the best deal. Because when you step foot into a car dealership, you're in a room full of sharks. You're playing into their home court. Car salesmen, they do this day in and day out. Unless you're a very skilled negotiator or a car salesman yourself, they usually have the upper hand. They have little tips and tricks to keep you longer, to wait you out, and give you a time restraint to purchase the car. As much as I know about negotiating car deals, some of these tricks can even make me give in. So knowing that much about myself, I usually like to play in my home court, which is the office or my couch. Another reason not to go into a car dealership to negotiate is because it's a big waste of time. Time is freaking valuable, and spending hours upon hours at each dealership to get the best price is a big waste of time for me. The last car lease I did it purely online and email and through an app. Even though they had my phone number and they would keep calling me to get me on the phone, I would ignore the calls and strictly just contact them via email. Another reason why communicating via email is so beneficial to you is that you have the time to think about your next action. Whether or not you want to ask for a lower price or more add-ons, this doesn't give you the time restraint as it would if you were at a car dealership. So when I send my first email, I typically get straight to the point. I'm in a market for blank car. I'm looking for a lease with these terms, say 12,000 miles for 36 months, and this is the model of the car I'm looking for. I also say I'm willing to sign the paperwork today if I can find the seller with the best price. Of course, only do this when you're willing to buy. I don't start negotiating the prices weeks in advance or days in advance. I only do it right when I'm ready to sign the paperwork. There's no point in wasting your time or other people's time if you're not ready to sign the lease. So the more specific you can be in the email about the terms of the lease that you're looking for, you will typically get the best response without emailing them back and forth for information. Some of the time you may get an email telling you you have to come in so they can check your credit to see what you qualify for. Of course, your credit does play a role when you get a lease, but they can always give you a ballpark number of close enough of what you can qualify for. Also, when you email them, make sure you include the model number of the car from the dealer's website. Like I said previously, the more specific you can be in the email, the easier it is for them to give you a quote. Instead of telling you to come into the dealership so you can test drive because we have multiple models to go on to try to sell you. So don't listen to all that BS. So just be specific and it will be better off for you to save more time. So a quick summary in the email, tell them your terms, the model number of the car, whether or not you have any specific rebates that apply to you, such as if you're in the military or a recent college graduate, and always get the out the door price. This includes tax and drive-off fees. Because the last thing you want to do is go to a dealership and have a surprise of all these fees and costs that you didn't know about. So now I'm going to be going over some negotiation tips that you can use while trying to get the best deals on a lease. First and foremost, be respectable. These are people too, and they need to make a living. You want to get the best price, and they want to sell at the best price. The worst thing you can do is to be a complete jerk or a douche. Save some face and kill them with kindness. People are more willing to work with you when you're calm and respectable. It is really up to you if you really want to throw in price for your first email. For example, if you found a great deal, just email them the numbers to the dealership and see if they can copy that. So in this case, the dealership can either copy it or offer you a completely different number. Another option is to throw in a number much lower than the asking price to see how much are they willing to budge. Then from there, you could throw in a copy of another person's deal. When buying a car, you don't want to be focusing on the car payment. But when you're leasing a car, that's what you want to be focusing on. I have seen people get great deals on cars and car leases, but get completely screwed over when it comes down to add-ons. You do not need protective packages or anything else that they're trying to upsell you towards the end of the negotiation. The only thing that I'll consider buying is the wear and tear insurance. There's been many horror stories that when it comes time to turn in a lease, people have been paying for ridiculous wear and tear fees at the end. Even the wear and tear protection is usually negotiable It's really up to you if you want to consider it or not. If negotiation and working with other people is not your forte, the next best bet is to work with a broker. So these are people or apps that own a business that specializes in negotiating car deals or already have a pre-negotiated car deal. So you can usually find car brokers from word of mouth on forums. On forums like Lease Hacker, there's a whole section of brokers and car salesmen that advertise their deals. And a lot of the times, the brokers and salesmen typically post their best deals that they possibly can get. Another thing to do is to also contact people who have gotten deals from them as well. That's another way of researching prices and your negotiation power. On these forums, you can also contact the people who have gotten deals from these salesmen or brokers as well. Apps that I've used in the past, there's an app called Roto, which used to be called Honker before. You can sign up for the app and you won't get bothered by calls by salesmen and dealerships. So using this app is another good starting point in finding price research. I was able to log into the price of my lease due to this app. After contacting multiple dealerships for my Acura lease, I was roughly quoted around $340 to $350 a month. But through the app, I was able to get $304 a month. And the funny part is that when I showed up to the dealership to sign the paperwork, it was one of the dealerships that offered me a price around $350 a month. This comes to show you that dealerships can be very patient when it comes down to negotiating. I was thinking to myself, why didn't you just take my offer when I wanted to get the lease for $304? But instead, they would accept a pre-negotiated deal through an app that I'm pretty sure took a percentage of the deal, which costed them more money. So on this deal, the car dealership had more leverage than it actually thought they had. The last thing you want to do before you sign anything is to read over the paperwork. Read over the fine print and make sure all the numbers line up. Know how much they're going to charge you if you go over the mileage. Know what is the wear and tear terms of the vehicle. And know exactly what's going into your monthly payment. If anything is wrong or incorrect, it's best to get it fixed there before you sign anything. Alright guys, so today I went over my 2-step process for negotiating a car lease. I went over the research that I take before going through this process, and I went over what to do when negotiating for the price. If you like more videos like this, make sure you let me know in the description below. I make new videos every week. Subscribe to be notified when a new video drops. I'll see you guys next time.